welcome to the inaugural episode of In the Kitchen with CCK. I am Coach Chef Kimberly Houston. Yes, I am a coach. I am a transformational life coach, and I absolutely love helping empowered women get unstuck. But I'm also a chef. So I'm a cordon bleu trained pastry chef. I ran an incredible business for about a decade up until I was injured back in 2020. Now, this show is a long time coming. Okay, so let me give you just a little bit of information about me before we jump into today's recipe. I'm a mom of two. My oldest is 21 and my youngest is almost 18. I cannot believe it. So my son is an actor and is getting ready to open up Fat Ham in Boston this weekend. So literally the day that we're gonna watch this together, I'm actually on a plane flying to Boston so that I can see my son open up as Juicy in Fat Ham this weekend. My daughter, she's 17, almost 18, and what can I say? That one keeps me on my toes, okay? You'll definitely be able to meet the kids throughout this series. You can find out more about us on my social media. You can follow me at Coach Chef Kim on all platforms. Every recipe that is created during the show will also be on CoachChefKim.com. So anytime you're like, man, I really want to do that with my kids this weekend, or I want to make this drink with my girlfriends, or I want to have this date night situation happening, make sure you go to CoachChefKim.com. Now, this episode actually falls a week after my birthday. So I decided we were going to do something a little fun today. So today I'm super excited to share with you a birthday cake popcorn. I know, right? Listen, this one is one of my absolute favorites. You can use it at birthday parties. You can use this for movie night because that would be super cool and super fun. It only takes a few ingredients and it's something incredible to do with the kids. So let's get started. Okay, friends. So for this recipe, we're going to need 2 bags of microwave popcorn. You're going to need a 1/4 of a cup, actually half a cup of cake batter. So you can use funfetti cake batter, or you can do white cake batter or French vanilla cake mix, and then add some sprinkles to it. We're going to need some white chocolate and extra sprinkles, okay? So first things first, we're gonna pop our popcorn, melt our chocolate, and then we're gonna come back and put it all together. Our chocolate should be ready. We're gonna warm this up on 30-second increments just so we make sure it doesn't burn. So let's check it and see if we're ready to go. So based on where my chocolate is, we're not ready. However, I want to mash it so that you can see the chocolate is indeed melting, okay? So I'm gonna stir it up and we're gonna see if there's enough residual heat to melt this. I'm stirring it. Most of my small clumps are melting in. I do have a couple of big clumps that I would like to melt a little bit more. So I'm gonna give this about 10 or 15 seconds more and then we should be ready to go. Okay, so now my chocolate has melted. We're gonna take our cake batter, take your cake mix and your sprinkles and pour them in, okay? And then we're gonna stir that up together. And this is going to be what we pour over our popcorn. So you wanna make sure you get it all nice and mixed. Now, just a couple of things I want to point out. Number one, I was using almond bark for my chocolate, okay? The reason that I use almond bark is because it melts easier and it's smoother. Can you use candy melts? You can. Do I recommend it? Not really, not for this part. And I'm going to tell you what I actually would do. So I have my popcorn here. I'm going to put it out on a baking sheet. As much of it as we can get on our baking sheet. Beautiful. We've got some leftover. This baking sheet's a little small. That's okay. We'll snack on that a little later. So if I wanted to do like a Halloween themed, or maybe a unicorn themed, or even like Christmas themed, I would put on the white chocolate and then I would come back with a colored candy melt to add in some pops of color if I wasn't doing it with the sprinkles. So that's how I would do things. So now I'm going to add this on here. And before it sets, add in your extra sprinkles. You can use any sprinkles you want. I went with these literally just for the pop of color. So now we're gonna let our popcorn rest for about 5 minutes until our chocolate has had time to set. Then we'll break it apart and it'll be time to party. But in the meantime, let's have a little conversation, shall we? So as I mentioned in the beginning, I am a transformation life coach. One of the things that I am asked most often is, how do you do the things you do? Now listen, I am a person who wholeheartedly believes in manifestation. I believe in abundance. I believe that the universe conspires to give me every single thing that I want, including this show. This show has been in my mind, in my heart, in my soul since 2020. I have had conversations with other people who are going to help me produce it. I've had talks with people who wanted to put it on a show. We wanted to do it on Amazon, all of these things. And it just wasn't the right time to make it happen. But I never let go of wanting to do In the Kitchen with CCK. One of the things that I think about all the time is this. Changing your mindset will change your life, literally. So I have a podcast and it's called The Positive Voice. In the beginning, my podcast was called The Visionary Catalyst. And on that show, I would often repeat the phrase, choose a new thought. And then I began to realize that it wasn't as easy for everyone to choose a new thought. So I rebranded, became the positive voice so that I can be the positive voice in your mind when you cannot get over your limiting beliefs. Make sure you listen to it, okay? Now, follow me because this is gonna go somewhere. Now, me being the host of the Positive Voice, I wanna make sure that whatever it is that I wanna do, it's going to happen because I understand that I have an audience of people who are watching me. They want me to win, right? Even if people don't want me to win, the thought that I have in my head is not only does the universe want to give me everything that I want, but every person watching me wants me to win because then I can inspire them to also go do the same thing, right? So that's one reason that I can do all the things that I do is that I know there are people watching. The second reason, which probably is the prequel to the first one, is if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. One of the things that I realized about my life pre-pandemic was I did a whole lot of stuff for a whole lot of people, right? I put my value and my worth in busyness, not in business. And that is a mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make. In the beginning, you want to say yes to every opportunity because every opportunity is an opportunity for exposure. It's an opportunity for you to do this, to do that, to get your name out there. And I did that. I did all the things. But the pandemic taught me a lesson, and it taught me a real one. When I was injured, when the doctor walked in the room and told me that I needed to close my business effective immediately, something inside of you literally shifts. When you tell someone that they can't do the thing that they were put on this earth to do, that they can't do the thing that brings them money, that they can't do the thing they need to do in order to support their family, a mindset shift instantly has to take place. The mindset is one of two things. Either I was going to wallow in sorrow, or I was going to figure it out by any means necessary. And it was in that moment that I decided I was going with any means necessary. I have come to the realization that saying yes to every opportunity also is a no to what you really want to do. If I say yes to something for someone else to support their brand, but there's no return on investment for me, then I'm saying no to rest. I'm saying no to bonding with my children. I'm saying no to spending time working on my business. A lot of times we do things we don't really want to do because society tells us it's the nice thing to do. But the thing that society failed to tell you is you're your first best friend. You are the only person that is going to be with you 24/7 from the time you take your first breath to the time you take your last one. So why are you ignoring your first best friend? You are your first best friend. So if it's not a hell yes, if someone asks you to do something and your soul doesn't leap forward and is like, hell yeah, I want to do that, then it's a no. If someone asks you to do something and you have to think about it, it's a no. If someone asks you to do something and you immediately need to now pull out your planner that's on your phone, that's on your iPad, and the one that you keep in your purse, if you now have to reorganize your entire life to fit somebody else's request into it, and it's going to require you to reshift some things that at the end of the day you know you're going to regret, then it's a no. That's how I'm able to do all of the things that I can do. That is how I'm able to coach women every single Wednesday night for 2 hours. That is how I'm able to pour into them freely, be able to pour into them my overflow, not even pouring from my cup. What they get is the overflow. I keep myself full. I'm able to do blog posts and I'm able to syndicate on Newsbreak. I'm able to film this show. I'm able to coach in another coaching group on Saturday mornings. And oh, by the way, also keep up with the demands of a PhD in mind-body medicine. I'm able to do all of the things because if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So if you take nothing else away from today's episode other than this really delicious popcorn we're about to jump into, just remember, beloved, if it's not a hell yes, it's a what? It's a no. Let's check on our popcorn and see if it's ready. So I can look at my popcorn and I can see that it's still a little shiny in a couple of areas, right? And if I pick it up, can you see the chocolate hanging off of there? She's not quite ready yet. So that's how you're gonna know the difference on whether or not your stuff is ready. You can take this and pop it in the freezer if you are like in a time crunch, you got little kids waiting, everybody's ready to eat it. But listen, if you're like me, baby, go on and dip that in that chocolate and pop it in your mouth. Oh my God, it's so good. It literally tastes like birthday cake with popcorn. The perfect sweet and salty mix. I'm gonna let these finish cooling. I'm gonna box them up and I'm gonna take them with me tonight to share it with some friends. Until next time, stay sweet, my loves, and make sure you tune in to the next episode of In the Kitchen with CCK.